Welcome everybody to Football Cruise on Ninja Footballers TV. It's good to be back after such a very long off season. But like I said, good to have the guys back on the show. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian, and I'm not alone on the show today. I have me, Bolu. Bolu, how are you doing? Good to have you back.
I'm doing fine, thank you. It's nice to be here again. Although we're still healing from the Falcons exits.
Yeah. Damola, good to have you back on the show as well.
Always good to be here. Like Bolu said, man, I can't place it. But yeah, let's talk some football though.
All right, the talking point in the past few weeks has been the Super Falcons. It's the end of the Women's African Cup of Nations tournament. But just before we get into that, we're going on a quick break now, so don't go anywhere. It is still Football Cruise on Ninja Footballers TV. Welcome back, guys. It is still Football Cruise on Ninja Footballers TV. I'm still not alone in the studio. Now, guys, let's talk about the Women's African Cup of Nations. Now, it's good to see the women's football trending in the past couple of weeks. I mean, Super Eagles are by the side at the moment. But, it's been concluded. South Africa are the champions. But let's talk about the Super Falcons now. As a fan, as a follower of the Super Falcons so far in this tournament, Bolu, for you, how would you rate the tournament so far? Was it a success for you? We came up short in the bronze match. So how would you rate the tournament, looking at the whole thing that happened, for you, the Super Falcons?
Yeah, like you said, it was a good tournament for women's football. It was great for women's football to see other teams trying to evolve. But I'm in the same vein, being excited for African football, African women's football, seeing how much development is going on. And as well as, for that, you need some of the Super Falcons' dominance to reduce because you want to see more competitive teams because that's for the best for African women's football. But
I'm sure some of the fans need to reduce,
especially Nigerian fans.
Yeah. So.
No, I mean it's that's best for development. If other teams are able to compete and that Nigeria is not always going to win it every year, I think that's going to be good for the development of the game. And like we saw this year, we could only come fourth, which is very painful. But I mean, it shows that we need to go back to the drawing board and try to make a better campaign.
But Damola, for you, was it a success for you, despite the fact that we came up short in the top place match?
It's really tough to differentiate what happened with the men's team in the last WAFCON. I feel like we started with so much excitement, and along the line, we just sort of lost guard. You could tell that the energy that was present at the start of the competition was not what the ladies brought out there in the semi-finals. Yeah, kudos to them because they went through a lot of hurdles, from officiating stuff to other things. But I think, like you said, they all have to go back to the drawing board. But positives, well, I think African women's football, in quotes, is getting that attention that it needs. And, it will make the competition more interesting to watch because we all know how dominant the Super Falcons have been in the history of this tournament. So maybe come a few more years, we can begin to see more competition, more challenges. So the last thing the Super Falcons want to do from what they've seen in this tournament is to relax. So yeah, that's just it for me. But overall, tournament, okay. But as a Nigerian fan, I think we lost it. We lost it. Yeah.
Before we go to the manager around the World Drum, let's look at what happened in the tournament. Against Morocco, we saw the whole situation. With the build-up to the game, we lost some key players, the officiating, the fans, the lasers, and all that. Zambia, before that game, the third place match, there was this bonus row and everything. Now, would you want to cut the team some slack, looking at what happened in the build-up to these games and what happened in the tournament, Bolu?
You can't really use that as an excuse, per se, especially in the third place game because, the players going on strike, missing one training session, and then we've seen this is first of all, it's not even it's a very normal thing for the Super Falcons. They've been through it in recent tournaments, having to miss a training session or the other just to make their points known to the federation. So it's quite a normal thing. You can't really use that excuse for them, and they should have been motivated from losing the semi-final to Morocco. I mean, that should have been enough motivation for them to prove themselves and at least console themselves with the bronze medal, which unfortunately didn't happen. And our profligacy showed in that third place match. We couldn't score even though we were dominating the game, and when they scored, we just didn't have enough firepower to beat them anymore. 2
red cards against Morocco, and do you think it was the right timing for the team to come out and have that bonus row to boycott training? I mean, looking at the fact that you were coming from this emotional defeat, 2 red cards, we all saw that game. Yeah. Do you think it was the right timing for the team to come out with that bonus row and all that?
It wasn't the right time. It's never the right time to have a disagreement with the federation over unpaid wages. But the girls had to do what they had to do because they knew that was their final game of the tournament. And after the next game, they would everyone would go back to their club sites, and no one would listen to whatever demands they're making concerning the tournament. So, like I said earlier, this is not the first time they're having a role with the federation over unpaid wages. So they knew that they had to do it, or else, after the game, no one would listen to them anymore.
Damola, for you, good enough excuse? Do you want to cut the team some slacks and not just hammer on the team and all that?
Well, you can say that, and at the same time, you cannot say that. Like I said, at the start of the show, there were a lot of hurdles to cross, and I think they did pretty well. But this brings me back to what I always say about football, maybe in Africa or in Nigeria. Let me put it that way. It goes beyond the performance on the pitch. As an administration, as an organization, there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. Why are we having such issues mid-competition, And it makes you ask a question: where are we going as a nation? Where are we going as maybe a continent? Because this doesn't happen only in Nigeria, So it's going to tell mentally. It's going to have that mental toll on the pitch, So there's a whole lot of things you can put into factor to consider. So I think if we don't get things right at the back office, it's going to reflect on the front office, which is on the pitch. So it goes beyond just those girls out there. So I'll call them some slack, yes, but they should not relax, definitely. So yeah,
talking about cutting them some slacks. The whole talk. I mean, as a manager, you get to take the responsibility.
Yeah.
You get to take the blame. Randy Wardrum has been. I mean, there was this row between the media where he came out to say the Nigerian media is negative. Some of the fans, the media guys who were in Morocco didn't take that lightly. It brought a lot of backlash from Nigerian fans and all that. Now there are calls to sack him. Based on what he's done. He was appointed in 2020, and looking at what he's done, are you one of those people? I mean, he qualified us for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And we have the World Cup next year. So are you one of those people who feel he should step aside and just move on to other things and let's just get a new manager?
When they say football fans are plastic, sometimes it's not entirely wrong, because at the end of the day, we're emotional. We talk and act according to the situation of things. When we won the quarterfinals and we qualified for the World Cup, courtesy of a goal by Jibade, we were excited. We felt okay. We have a direction. So, and like I said before, even the show started, this tradition or culture of calling for sacks of coaches all because the campaign did not go well needs to stop. Because at the end of the day, are we even checking ourselves as a federation? And taking it to the men's side, we all saw the media hanky-panky that happened even with Raw. So things like that shouldn't be repeating itself. If you ask me, man, I think they just need to know what's up. I don't think it's tactical. Well, he made some questionable substitutions, if you ask me. But then you get to a point in some games, you just have to take the risk. We saw what Iguain even did, with he blew it all up against Tunisia. So these things happen. It's just a matter of going back to the drawing board, not letting it pull you down. But calling for a sack, I don't necessarily buy it. Being the worst, maybe not the worst, but a really bad competition we've had in a long time. But we've been dominant as a nation. Let's just see what we need to act right and get back on track. So,
tactically, I mean, at least he showed that he could adapt to something. We saw that first game against South Africa. We saw the starting line of the team he put out there. The next game, he corrected some mistakes, and we got the result. We won 2 out of 2. The next 2 games, Botswana, Burundi, and all that. But, I kind of agree with you. I wouldn't want us to sack him now. Go to the World Cup and, qualify the team, take the team to the World Cup. Then after the World Cup, we could take it from there. But, Bolu, I don't know what you think. Do you think Wardrum stay or go?
Yeah, it's easy to say we're trying to get emotional by asking for the sack of Wardrum, but let's look at the facts that are on ground. Right from the Aisha Buhari Cup last year, where we were outclassed by South Africa in the final game, we were classed 4-2 on that day. Everyone at the stadium knew that day that we were going to have troubles at the WAFCON this year, because it was obvious that we're not ready, and there was golf in class between us and South Africa. We all knew it, that South Africa and Morocco were going to give us a run for our money at this year's WAFCON. And so it proved. We, despite seeing it a year before now, we couldn't prevent it still because of our lack of readiness, lack of technical ability or whatever it was. And, if you now go back to when the tournament started, it was like you said in the first game, it was like we hadn't learned our lessons from Aisha Buhari Cup. We knew that South Africa were one of our biggest challenges, and they were going to be basically our biggest challenge in the WAFCON. And, we couldn't prevent it on the day. They outclassed us tactically. Yes, you can give Waldrum his flowers by saying, he changed the tactics and all that. And you can also say, okay, as that's Oshola's injury, Ajibade became our main player as the tournament went on. She got a red card in the local game and all that. But the fact still says that, there's a bit of technical deficiency with our coaching crew. And, if you look at the man Wardrum, if you look at his career so far, he has coached 5 different women's college soccer teams. He has coached one NWS, so that's Women's Soccer League team. He has coached one male team. He has coached Trinidad and Tobago women's national team. And then you think that's not really a CV that, is the best out there. And, looking at what we did at the WAFCON as well, 3 wins, 3 losses out of 6 games, that also shows that we're not really a top team as we think we are anymore. And, it just feels like it's no longer we are past that top. And if you look at our biggest challengers, as we say, Morocco's coach, he was Lyon's head coach when they won the Champions League 2 years in a row, 2018, 2019. Desiree Ellis of South Africa also has been there for a number of years. She's been improving with the team gradually. She won the Aisha Barry Cup with them last year as well. So that's the level now that it is at the top of African women's football, and it feels like we are no longer at that top, even technically and right on the pitch. So it feels like there's some work to be done, and the fear is when we go to the World Cup next year, it's going to get worse.
Well, I think for me it's just more about it goes beyond the pitch. It's more about the imbalance I feel it could cause in the dressing room. Sacking the manager. Well, the time, the gap is still a long time. So maybe at the end of the day, I might just buy Bolu's thoughts. If they can get things done quickly, get a change done quickly, and I don't know, organize a number of friendlies or however to get them blending again for the tournament. Like you said, it's not like we're going to win it, but we need that high stake, at that level of world football. So yeah, if they can sort it out as soon as they can, but if not, they should just let it be. They should know what they need to work on, both administratively and tactically, and get ready for the competition. So that's just it. But for me, it's more about that lag. You're changing the managers right now. How about the man these girls have gotten used to, in the last 2 years? So how is it going to be against the world tournament coming up? It's just probably going to make things worse, because we were excited. We saw the excitement. We felt it. Messing it up at the semi-finals and not even getting a place, for third place, is just what is making Nigerians a bit emotional right now. Are we really going to let that, have a stronghold on the man's future with the team?
Well, you also need to consider that it's been our worst. The first time we've not made the top. We've not made the podium place since 2012. That's 10 years, and that's been 3 tournaments since then. So it feels. This is the 4th tournament since then. So it feels like there's a decline going on, and I agree with you.
If I'm to buy your idea, they should just make it. If I'm to buy your idea, it should be on time.
Yeah, it should be on time. But with the current NFF board, there's never.
And if they won't fix it, if they won't fix it timely, they should let it be, because of chemistry.
Yeah. Looking at the fact that not just the Super Falcons, we have some pool of talents coming up as well. Under 17, we've qualified for the World Cup. Under 20, World Cup. There's this talk that the players in the team are aging players in the squad. Maybe and the likes. Rita Chikwelu, one of the most criticized players in this just concluded WAFCON. And looking at Morocco, the infrastructure they have, the way they've prepared for the team, all these things can work as well. Waldrum, despite the fact that tactically, in terms of his tactical inplay and his CV, is not up there with the kind of manager we would want. But then again, do we have the funds to pay the kind of manager we desire?
That's true.
It just boils down to the NFF as well, because Waldrum, this same manager who was appointed, he declined due to disagreements with contract wages and all that. It's happened with the NFF as well. They got Denaby in, and we still got Waldrum again at the end of the day. So, looking at all these factors, it's not just getting the manager we want.
That's why I keep saying it goes beyond the pitch. I think it's more of an administrative thing. It's more of knowing how to fish out all those little hurdles, that comes, mid tournaments. Like it was actually disappointing. It was disheartening, seeing those kind of things go down, because at the end of the day, it's all about the mental tolls. Even in normal club football, we all see the attitude, when teams or players are being older or stuff like that. So can we start from the organization, from the administration, making sure we fish out things that could, So let's just, like you said, things like that are always a factor. They're always going to be a factor. So you're right.
Yeah. So Bolu, you sticking with your guns, sack Waldrum?
Unfortunately, I would have to agree with the both of you, because this is the Nigerian Football Federation we're talking about. Let's realize it ourselves. They don't get to do things proactively. and it feels like letting him go would be too early. But then there's also the World Cup coming next. I feel like it's an impending disaster. But like you have said now, the best way would be to refresh the squad a bit. Bring a number of new faces, new names. People who are more motivated to prove themselves. And Waldron has done well actually bringing a number of players, talented players.
Diaspora players as well.
Yeah, diaspora players. He has improved the quality of the squad a little bit. He just needs to freshen it up. Make the motivation levels a bit at the same, at the same level, so that everyone the team can pull in the same direction. So yeah, I mean, I think it needs the benefit of playing at the World Cup because he has taken them there. He deserves that.
I think so too.
But I still don't see us doing anything special at the World Cup. Hopefully, we can break our record of reaching the quarterfinal. Or I think that would be okay.
All right, talking about around the world, let's not forget the Super Falcons have lined up a couple of top-notch friendlies. Ever since he came in, we've been playing some good friendly games as well. So you might want to say maybe his links or his connections is trying to help us, help us get those kind of friendly games. So of course we'll be taking on United States Women's National Team in friendly games in September. I think we'll have one against Japan as well in October. Another good friendly game as well. Then preparations for the World Cup kicking. So yeah, for me, benefit of doubt, you should go to the World Cup and see what we take it off from there. That's that on around the world. And just about we're talking about around the world is still transfer window in football world, and Nigerian players are still making moves. We've seen brilliant moves regarding some Nigerian players, but we'll be talking about players that we expect to make a move that have not yet made that move. So guys, stick with us. It is still Football Cruise. After this break, we're going on transfers. Don't you go anywhere. All right, guys, so let's talk some transfer stories. Of course, it is still transfer windows, and Nigerian players are not left out. We've seen brilliant moves from Nigerian players. Tawa Oni, record-breaking fee to Nottingham Forest, and some other good Calvin Bassey as well. Made a brilliant move to Ajax. Now, I don't know which other one comes to mind. I'm trying to remember them now, but these are top moves regarding Nigerian players. But let's talk about players that we expect to make a move that are still, the moves is still stalling at the moment. Emmanuel Dennis did so well at Watford. We all thought by now that move could have been secured, right now. But we've seen some couple of teams being linked, creditable interest and all that. But Onuachu as well, still getting no move at the moment, despite the fact that the Belgian league, kicked off this past weekend.
Ademola
Lookman as well. Still no move yet. Wilfred Ndidi, while some of us, thought he could have moved to bigger things, but he's still stuck with Leicester City and all that. Looking at all these players, what could be the reason? Which of them, strikes you the most? That why is he still at his former club?
Well, in terms of being surprised the most, I would say between the King of Naples and Ndidi, or Osimhen and Ndidi, I feel I don't know what's going on.
You feel Osimhen should have moved?
Yeah, for Bonaventure, for Emmanuel Dennis, I don't think Watford will let him go. I don't see that happening. But anyways, if we're talking about Osimhen, I think he's done pretty well. I think it boils down to the agent. I'm not sure the kind of relationship he's got with him. I'm not one to just sit down and say, oh, he should change his agent and make some move. Lewandowski just left Bayern. In fact, I'm not going to lie to you. One of the moves I was expecting, or one of the even if it's a rumor, I didn't even see any clear rumor. I was even expecting something like, or maybe Ossie to Germany or something. But I don't know what's going on, man. I really don't understand it. Look at Ndidi as well, world class. He should be somewhere better. There have been questions on him in terms of injuries, even in terms of performance. As we speak, we all know the Ndidi of when we used to name, when they say, oh, Ndidi top 5 DMs in the world. We all knew how Leicester was last season. So these are the factors we can put in place as to say, okay, maybe this is why it's not much of a surprise. But work needs to be done, because the summer is going already. So yeah.
Picking up from where you left, Ndidi. Now, there's in terms of numbers, it's been up there, among the top 3, top 5 DMs in the world. Now, he came out to say, I think sometime in 2019, that he's getting a degree while at Leicester City. I think that was in 2019, in business. And, such kind of degree might take 4 years to complete. And, from 2019 till now, if you calculate 4 years, 2023, his contract with Leicester City ends in 2024. So I don't know. I mean, this is just me now thinking outside
Yeah.
the box. So do you think that might just be one of the reasons it might still be at Leicester? This is just me thinking outside of the box. But because we've seen DMs move to bigger clubs, we saw Bissouma move to Spurs.
Yeah.
Bissouma in DD. Is Bissouma
Okay,
better
so
in DD?
are you like relating the academics as part of why he?
Yeah,
might
why
still,
he's still,
that's
might
the
still be at
thing.
Leicester
That's the
City,
thing.
so-
I heard a story, though I didn't put much mind to it. Why during your playing career, I'm not saying because I remember Jason Park. He got his degree just after leaving Manchester. I think he got it in Leicester as well. I can't remember where he got it. So I just feel like at the end of the day, if you know what's good for your career, but maybe it might be a case of if you see another person when you go thank God for your own life because as a Nigerian player, you are in Leicester. There are a lot of Nigerian players who have even in history done or made greater names than you. They didn't make those top clubs. Look at the likes of Ayegbeni. His marks was like Everton. So I think it's a matter of knowing what he wants, and if he feels if that's a valid reason, I'm not in his shoes, but anyways, I just feel it's he deserves more definitely. Based on his performance and based on who we've known he is in the last few years, recent times. So yeah.
So Bolu, what do you think transfers, Nigerian players that are yet to move and all that?
The two who have surprised me the most, I didn't expect that, but at this point in the season, they will still, the transfer window, they still wouldn't have moved. First, Emmanuel Dennis and Paulo Onuachu. Onuachu is due a transfer for like two transfer windows now, and he still hasn't left Genk. He wasn't involved in their game against. The opening day of the Genk Premier League season. So I don't know what's going on there. I still don't know. He's not been linked seriously with any club so far, and you wonder what's going on. Emmanuel Dennis as well. I think he needs to leave Watford. I think his level is much higher than Watford, like as his start showed last season. So he needs to stay at the Premier League club, and I'm wondering why there are no Premier League clubs that have come up yet. So I think those are the two that still surprise me the most for now.
Final words before we wrap up. Ndidi, what do you think about Wilfred Ndidi?
Ndidi, I think it's a case of Ndidi being very settled personally at Leicester.
Yeah,
he's very settled. I think he grew up at Leicester. He got there as a boy. He's now a man. He's married now. He has a child. So I think he's also very settled personally. And like you said, his university degree in business administration. He doesn't want to leave that. So, but then by this time next year, he'll be done with his degree. He has a year left on his Leicester contract. Then that's when it's going to get very interesting. And then you begin to think, okay, now he has to move. Now he has to take his family and leave Leicester finally. So I think he's just waiting out. He's trying to be settled. He's trying to build himself as a man because the degree he's undertaking is not just for now. It's for his future after his football career. So he's trying to play now as well as secure the life of himself and his family. So you would understand that for a man, wanting to do that, being settled and wanting to just get his degree. So I respect that. So but then I think it will get interesting next year.
All right, guys, it is still the transfer window. It is still very much open. Regarding these players we talked about, a lot can still happen. We can still expect that move to happen just before the end of the transfer window. So, yeah, we are keeping our fingers crossed regarding that one. So, guys, don't forget, it's still Football Cruise on Nigeria Footballers TV. As we gear up into the new season, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification button for premium Nigeria football content right here on Nigeria Footballers TV. But until we come away again next time, it's been a wonderful time on Football Cruise. My name is Emmanuel Sebastian, and I've been with Damola on the show and, of course, Bolu on the show. Till we come away again next time, keep cruising.